So it was 2004, sitting at my parents' house in our addition in Resaca, Georgia, talking to a good friend of mine who I'll remain nameless at this time. And he was a friend of mine my whole life. Met him in kindergarten, and this was probably our senior year in high school, and we're just having God talk. And so he just asked me, and he started challenging me about what his beliefs were about how all this happened, which it would take me about 10 years to get you on that page because it was so far out there. But anyways, he couldn't wrap his mind around he just couldn't wrap his mind around the thought of God. And the reason why is because he said there was no proof that he exists. He said that you can't smell God, you can't touch God, you can't feel God, you can't see God. So how could there even be God? And then the next question he goes, and how can you say that there's something called faith? Because to me, faith is just blind stupidity. And so then I was struck by this guy. And realistically, what I realized in that moment is that he just has no idea how awesome God is. He's never encountered God. And so of course he's gonna think that God doesn't exist. And so as we began to talk, I helped him to see that just because you can't see, touch, smell, or feel God, that doesn't mean that God is not alive and present right now. And actually, when you watch this video, you're gonna watch it after it's been shot, and God's gonna be in the room with you. Right now, God is in the room with you, and he's alive, and you can't even keep him away from you because he's coming through this video, because he's real. And it has nothing to do with being able to see, touch, smell, or taste, or however you wanna sense God. God exists, whether or not you believe it. And how can we see that? Well, let's just look into our world and just name a few different things. For instance, there is cold. We say that we experience cold, but cold can't be defined because cold is not cold. Cold is the absence of heat. Another thing is darkness. At night it's dark, but you can't define darkness because darkness is not darkness. Darkness is just the absence of light. And so you can encounter these things in our world without experiencing them the way that you desire to. And do you know why that is? And the reason why that is because God created it that way so that you would see that even if you can't see, touch, or smell something, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And the last thing is just recognizing that because your opinion says that God doesn't exist, that doesn't make God not exist. That just makes you believe a lie about him. And so again, I'll ask this question. What if God exists?